A recent diagnosis of human immunodeficiency virus, HIV. A resource for those recently diagnosed with HIV for starting to psychologically process the news. A guide outlining what to expect when processing a diagnosis, information on coping, and signposting to other support. By Dr. Zoe Poisden and Dr. Bethany Brown. NHS Fife BBV Service. NHS Fife Clinical Health Psychology. Fife Health and Social Care Partnership. For an audio version of this booklet, scan me. We understand that each person learns differently. This is why this guide is adaptable to your learning style. Whether you prefer to read or listen, you can use this resource in a way that works best for you. This booklet is a reference guide that you can go back to whenever you need guidance. Throughout the booklet, you will find QR codes which offer you additional resources and information. These QR codes lead to websites, fact sheets, and videos which will provide extra information to supplement what you find in the guide. Instructions on how to use a QR code are below. Feel free to explore these at your own pace, integrating them into your journey as you see fit. Some smartphones have the ability to scan a QR code by using the camera on your phone. If the camera on your smartphone does not do this, you may need to download a QR scanner app from your app store. 1. Open the camera app on your phone. 2. Using the rearing facing camera, hover the device over the QR code. 3. Tap the viewfinder to focus and scan the QR code. 4. Tap the notification that appears at the top of the screen to access video. If you are having trouble, you may need to go into your Settings app to enable the QR code scanning. Contents. Hello from the team. Page 4. Meet the team. 5. Myths and facts about HIV. 6 to 7. Expectations. 8. Common experiences following a diagnosis. 9. Vicious cycles. Thoughts. 10. Vicious cycles. Avoidance. 11. Vicious cycles. What does this mean? 12. Adjustment. Grief. 13 to 14. Adjustment. Identity. 15. Adjustment. Acceptance as a moving target. 16. Recommendations. 17 to 18. Signposting. 19 to 20. Telling other people. 21. Glossary. 22 to 23. Hello from the bloodborne virus team. You were likely to have received this booklet due to a recent diagnosis of human immunodeficiency virus, HIV. We understand that this can be a scary time, sometimes filled with overwhelming thoughts and feelings. Finding out you have a diagnosis of HIV can be distressing, whilst there is lots of new information to take on board. Hearing that you have HIV may elicit several responses, including the experience of mental health difficulties, such as low mood and anxiety, as you adjust. These are normal and understandable given the news. It may be hard accepting diagnosis. Try to be kind to yourself and not put pressure on yourself. This resource aims to introduce you to the team, guide you through what to expect, and assure you that life does continue. We want you to know that we are here to support you going forward. You may have several questions. We hope we were able to answer some of those when we met with you, but sometimes it can be difficult remembering the information when we have received news. This booklet hopes to act as a reminder of those questions and provide relevant information in one place. The HIV service is a multidisciplinary and offers assessment and treatment for those living with HIV in Fife. We also offer services to those who have moved out of Fife who chose to keep their care within this board. The team is made up of a consultant, nurses, pharmacists, clinical psychologists, and a dietitian. Within this booklet, we plan to let you know about the process of receiving a diagnosis. We will also give you some tools and tips to support yourself going forward. Meet the team. Karen, Senior Charge Nurse. Mark, Service Manager. Karina, BBV Specialist Nurse. Stacey, BBV Specialist Nurse. Bethany, Principal Clinical Psychologist. Sheena, BBV Specialist Nurse. Inanjnil, Consultant Physician, GU and HIV Medicine. Zoe, Clinical Psychologist. Carly, Specialist Dietitian. BBV Nurse Specialist. BBV Senior Pharmacist. Second Pharmacist on rotation. Myths and facts about HIV. Facts, myths. Myth 1. HIV is a death sentence. Fact. With modern antiretroviral therapy, ART, people living with HIV can lead long, healthy lives. ART reduces the virus to undetectable levels, preventing progression to AIDS and transmission to others. Myth 2. HIV and acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, are the same thing. Fact. HIV is the virus. AIDS is the most advanced stage of HIV infection. Not everyone with HIV develops AIDS, especially with early and consistent treatment. Myth 3. You can get HIV through casual contact, hugging, kissing, sharing utensils. Fact. HIV is only transmitted through specific bodily fluids: blood, semen, vaginal fluids, rectal fluids, and breast milk. It is not spread through touch, air, saliva, unless there's an injury in the mouth, or insect bites. Myth 4. Only certain groups, for example gay men or drug users, get HIV. Fact. HIV does not discriminate. Anyone, regardless of gender, orientation, or background, can contract HIV through unprotected sex, needle sharing, from mother to child during birth or breastfeeding, or any transmission of blood and blood products. Myths and facts about HIV. Myth 5. You can tell if someone has HIV just by looking at them. Fact. Many people with HIV show no symptoms for years. The only way to know is through testing. Myth 6. Natural remedies or detoxes can cure HIV. Fact. There is currently no cure for HIV. Claims of natural cures are unscientific and potentially dangerous. ART is the only proven treatment. Myth 7. People with HIV shouldn't have children. Fact. With proper treatment, the risk of mother-to-child transmission can be reduced to less than 1%. HIV-positive individuals can safely have children with medical guidance. Myth 8. If both partners have HIV, they don't need protection. Fact. Different strains of HIV exist, and reinfection can complicate treatment, protection is still important. Facts, myths. Expectations, what we will ask and do. Contacts. To prevent further transmission, we will ask about your sexual partners. This is a normal process to prevent further diagnoses. Near the time of diagnosis, a health advisor will be in contact to discuss partner notification. In the interim, we advise you not to have sex whilst you have a detectable viral load, as there are legal implications. Testing. We will begin with monthly reviews, moving to 3 monthly and then 6 monthly if things are going well. Testing will look at CD4 count and viral load. View the QR code on the right to understand more about CD4 and viral load. Treatment. The primary treatment for HIV is antiretroviral therapy. ART medication works to suppress the virus's replication and therefore reducing the impact it has on the immune system. This also works by producing an undetectable viral load. To understand more about an undetectable viral load, scan the QR code on the left. Taking your medication. Scan the QR code to watch a video on the importance of medication adherence. Daily life. HIV doesn't have to stop you from carrying on with the rest of your life. Many people living with HIV take more care of their health than they did before. Some people go through a period of adjustment and reconsider their priorities. Common experiences. Scan here. What to expect when processing a diagnosis. Emotions. An array of feelings may be experienced when receiving a diagnosis and there onwards. These emotions may be interchangeable, which may mean we don't know how we are going to feel from one minute to the next. Behavior. People draw upon their personal resources to cope. Some have helpful coping strategies, whilst others may draw upon more unhelpful coping mechanisms. For example, some people will turn to those around them for support, engage in activities they enjoy, and find ways to soothe distress. Others may notice an increased tendency to self-soothe in unhelpful ways, such as drinking alcohol, taking drugs, or avoiding people and life in general, whilst others try to find lots of information to manage the news. This may mean searching the internet. Difficulty accepting the diagnosis may mean that people continue to live life as if they did not have HIV. This means that they do not take antiretroviral medication, avoid others, or engage in risky sexual practices. Thoughts. Receiving a diagnosis may lead to overwhelming thoughts about how HIV was caught and uncertainty and worry about the future. Some people blame themselves or others, for example, if they think they know who passed HIV on. There may also be worry about telling others, with thoughts about being rejected and/or that people will tell others. Physical sensations. Finally, bodily sensations may be experienced. The vicious cycle. What makes adjustment harder? The role of thoughts. Thoughts. I won't see my grandchildren grow up. I will never be able to complete what I want in life. What if everyone finds out? Why did this happen to me? I will never be normal again. Did I get it because of... Why did this happen to me? Emotions. Fear, shame, anger, anxiety, worry, doubt, sadness, hopelessness. Physical sensations. Tension, fatigue, headaches, restlessness. Behaviors. Repetitive overthinking, replaying past events, isolating to think more, neglecting daily tasks. The vicious cycle. What makes adjustment harder? Avoidance. Thoughts. People will judge me. I can't handle this. I'll be a burden. Emotions. Fear, shame, loneliness, dread. Physical sensations. Nausea, racing heart, low energy, dizziness, trembling. Behaviors. Avoid social contact, skip appointments, withdraw, stay in bed, unhelpfully self-soothe. For example, substance misuse. The vicious cycle. So what does this mean? 1. In the first cycle, we saw how receiving a HIV diagnosis led to overthinking about how they got HIV and worry about the future. This increased emotional distress, sleep difficulties, negative views of themselves, and reduced problem solving. The more a person thinks, the more distressed they feel, which leads to more overthinking, catching them in a loop of mental overanalyzing and emotional exhaustion. 2. In the second cycle, the person diagnosed was invited to an event or needed to attend an appointment. Their main coping strategy was to avoid and withdraw. In the short term, they felt relief for not having to attend. However, long-term outcomes included isolation, worsening mood, and reinforcing views of themselves as not being good enough or helpless. Overall, avoidance reduces immediate fear but prevents helpful experiences, reinforcing views that the person cannot cope or is undeserving of connection. Adjustment to a HIV diagnosis. Grief. Receiving a HIV diagnosis can be a life-altering event, often triggering emotional, psychological, and social responses. Responses can involve dealing with grief, changes to identity, and adjustment. The adjustment process is personal, yet common themes emerge across individuals' experiences. Responses often mirror the stages of grief as outlined in the Kubler-Ross model. Grief in this context is not only about mortality, it's also about loss of identity, perceived health, and future expectations. The diagram below shows this model. Kubler-Ross model of grief in HIV diagnosis. People tend to bounce between stages. Events such as anniversaries can cause movement between the cycle. Denial. This can't be happening to me. Anger, directed at self, others, or healthcare system. Bargaining, hoping for a mistake or miracle. Depression, feelings of despair and shame and/or thoughts of life not being worth living. Acceptance, beginning to combine diagnosis into one's life. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Adjustment to a HIV diagnosis, grief. The dual process model of grief, Strobey and Strutt, 1999, offers a more dynamic and realistic framework. It suggests that people oscillate, that is, swing, between two types of coping. Loss-orientated coping, focused on the emotional pain, sadness, and mourning of what has been lost, for example, health, identity, and future plans. Restoration-orientated coping, focused on adapting to life changes, managing stigma, seeking treatment, and rebuilding a sense of self. This oscillation is healthy and necessary. People may move back and forth between the modes over time, rather than progressing linearly. Diagnosis. Shock and emotional overload. Grief responses. Loss-orientated coping, sadness, fear, stigma. Oscillation. restoration-orientated coping, seeking support, learning about treatment, identity rebuilding, and meaning making, integration, advocacy, and growth. These are normal processes to go through when processing a diagnosis. Can you identify where you may be on the model? Adjustment. Acceptance as a moving target. The glitter metaphor. An HIV diagnosis can be like knocking over a pot of glitter. Initially, everything is covered in glitter. It is everywhere you look. Processing the diagnosis is like tidying the glitter up. Some things might take on the glitter and become glittery forever. Other things will get cleaned up completely and are free from glitter. Even when life feels steady and the glitter seems swept up, a little dusting still shows up sometimes. On clinic days, in a film that catches you off guard, or in a moment of suddenly remembering the rawness of the early days. Acceptance doesn't mean it's emotionally finished. Receiving a diagnosis isn't a one-time adjustment process. Living with HIV means revisiting who to trust, when to share, and navigating those small flashes of anxiety, even something like a paper cut at work. Most days the glitter barely shows, but now and then a speck catches the light. It doesn't mean you're back at the beginning. It just means this is something meaningful in your life, something that occasionally sparkles unexpectedly, but doesn't define the whole of who you are. Recommendations. Scan here. You did not get HIV because you deserved it. Terence Higgins Trust. It doesn't mean you're stupid, bad, or immoral. Many people get HIV from a partner. You may not have known they had HIV, or you may not have known the risks. You might have chosen not to worry about it at the time. Sometimes the person who passed it on didn't know they had HIV either. HIV is often passed by people who've had it for only a short time and haven't been tested yet. Maybe they knew and didn't tell you. That can happen because people feel shame, fear rejection, or worry others won't keep their status private. Try to avoid thinking about your diagnosis. Ask yourself, is the way I'm thinking and acting helping me? Does it make me feel better? If you're finding it hard to cope and your thoughts feel too much, try using some of the recordings linked in the QR codes to help manage. Make time for yourself. Do things that matter to you. You haven't changed, we just have more information to support your health. Try using relaxation techniques to help you feel calm. Recommendations. Vicious cycles can be disrupted through cognitive restructuring. Uses cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, to spot and reduce unhelpful thinking. Behavioral experiments. A CBT strategy for testing unhelpful ideas about what might happen through action. Mindfulness and acceptance. Learn to move towards acceptance and work with overthinking through acceptance and commitment therapy techniques. Audio and video recordings, worksheets, and handouts can be accessed via the QR code. Why not try the dropping anchor exercise? Graded exposure. Another CBT technique to reduce avoidance of feared situations. Signposting. Terence Higgins Trust. Information, support, groups and workshops. Referrals to Peer Support Scotland. https:// tht.org.uk/get-help/Fife 07741385578. THT Direct Helpline on 0808 802 1221. info@tht.org.uk. National AIDS Trust shares information about HIV and AIDS, providing independent, accurate, and accessible information about HIV. Includes knowing your rights and how you are protected by law. https://www.nat.org.uk/ 02078146767 info@nat.org.uk. Waverley Care Scotland, Scotland's HIV and hepatitis C charity. Advice, peer support and information. https://www.waverleycare.org/ 0131 558 1425. hello@waverleycare.org. AIDS Map, sharing information about HIV and AIDS. They provide independent, accurate, and accessible information about HIV. https://www.aidsmap.com/. Recently diagnosed. https://www.aidsmap.com/topic/recently-diagnosed-HIV. Signposting. Scan QR codes below. Taking drugs on time. AIDSmap YouTube channel. Drug resistance. Coping with health conditions workbook. Mood Cafe. Coping with a diagnosis. Deciding who to tell. Slow down. Scan here. Take your time before making decisions. You don't need to rush into telling people about your HIV status. People may react in different ways. In most cases, your employer does not need to know. Telling a partner, friend, family member, or colleague can feel scary. Being open with someone you trust might help you feel more at ease, but you don't have to tell anyone if you're not ready. If you're feeling anxious about it, get in touch with us. We can help you plan what to say. Write down your plan of looking into the information recommended or who to speak to. Glossary. Acceptance and commitment therapy. Acceptance and commitment therapy is a type of talk therapy. It teaches tools to help live with and improve racing thoughts. Antiretroviral therapy, ART. The treatment for HIV using a mix of medicines. These medicines stop the virus from making copies of itself. This helps protect your immune system and lowers the amount of HIV in your body. ART doesn't cure HIV, but it can help people live long and healthy lives. CD4, a type of white blood cell that helps your body fight infections. These are also called T helper cells. HIV attacks these cells, which weakens the immune system over time. Cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT is a type of talk therapy. It helps people change how they think and act. It is used to treat stress, worry, and sadness. Emotions. Emotions are feelings like happiness, sadness, anger, fear, or love. They are your mind and body's way of reacting to things that happen around you. Human immunodeficiency virus, HIV. a virus that attacks the body's immune system, making it harder to fight off infections and diseases. HIV spreads through certain body fluids like blood, semen, vaginal fluids, and breast milk. Identity. Identity is how you see yourself and what makes you who you are. It includes things like your values, beliefs, personality, culture, and life experiences. Rumination. Rumination means getting stuck in a loop of thinking about the same things, often negative or upsetting. It usually focuses on past events, mistakes, or worries and can make you feel worse over time. Undetectable. Undetectable levels of HIV, meaning tests can't find the virus in their blood. When HIV is undetectable, it can't be passed on through sex. U equals U means undetectable equals untransmittable. Viral load. Viral load is the amount of HIV in your blood. It shows how active the virus is in your body. Doctors use a blood test to measure it.